Did you know that in one of the old Journal of Justices, Riot wrote an old newsletter talking about how Warwick murdered Earth? The story goes that Earth was just minding his own business, swimming along the waters of Summoner's Rift until, and I quote, a blood hunter ate him. It was said that Earth's screams could be heard throughout the rift, and after the killer was done with him, only the skin was left, which we all know now as the Earthwick skin, one of the most expensive skins in the game. And as if things couldn't get any worse, these terrifying events took place on Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. Okay, so whoever's running the Polish League of Legends YouTube account is kind of goated. A long time ago, someone posted this in the comments on the champion spotlight for Eve, which translates to, what if Eve and Ari charm each other at the same moment? I'm a blank teenager and I want lesbian interaction. And the official Polish League of Legends account responded with this, which says, charm lasts for 2 seconds, so about right for you, winky face. Whoever's running their account really needs to get a raise. If you watched one of my last videos, you would know it was confirmed by Riot that Jin shaves his balls. Seriously. Now you can shave yours too with today's sponsor, Manscaped. This is a Manscaped that I'd like to think even Jin would approve of because it's the new lawnmower 4.0. With the Manscaped 4.0, you no longer have to face check bushes. And no, I'm not talking about League of Legends. Manscaped hooked me up with a bunch of stuff from their all-in-one perfect package 4.0, which of course includes the 4th generation electric waterproof trimmer that has advanced skin-safe technology, reducing nicks and cuts on the most sensitive regions of the body. Not only that, but it's cordless and waterproof, so you can even go ham with it when wet. It even has a travel lock feature now, where if you click the button on the front 3 times, it locks until clicked 3 times more again. Perfect Package 4.0 kit also includes the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray to help you feel super fresh, and even a fancy Manscaped shaving mat. Also, for a limited time, you'll even get a travel bag and anti-chafing boxer briefs as free gifts with the package. So go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off plus free international shipping plus the 2 free gifts when you use promo code outsidejoke at checkout. All right, back to the video. Did you know that back in the old days of League, Riot used to actually do general Q&As whenever a new champion was released and when boards was still a thing? There's also one guy who always had one question about each of the champions, and that was, what was the champion's favorite sandwich? And because of this incredible question and the consistency of asking it, he became known as Sandwich Man. He is also the reason that we officially know that Lamb likes creamy peanut butter, but Wolf prefers crunchy. Anyways, shout out to Sandwich Man wherever you may be now. Did you know that before each of the splash arts are made for each League of Legends champion, Riot first makes an extremely high quality placeholder for them? For example, this is Ivern's current loading screen art. But while he was still being developed, this was his loading screen art. Senior game designer Brian Feeney, or better known as Pharaoh Pony, is the artist behind these incredible masterpieces, which are now actually known as Feeney art. And this tradition of making them actually began all the way back in 2012. It happened because they kept accidentally releasing the incomplete splash arts, which happened multiple times, I guess. And because this happened so frequently, he said this, and I quote, I wanted to make something that was super so people would never actually ship it. There would be no question whether or not it's finished artwork. Thus, a tradition was born. Ironically enough, Pharaoh Pony's work actually helped the design team in multiple occasions. An example of this is with Talia's splash art. Pharaoh Pony was struggling to draw Talia in his signature style at the time because her figure and silhouette were too simple, and it turned out that the champion development team was actually having the same issue. The fact that he wasn't able to complete the splash art in his style was a pretty bad sign to the dev team that something needed to be changed. So they decided to make Talia more unique and make changes to her silhouette because of it. And once those changes took place, Pharaoh Pony was able to draw her with ease. What began as a way to prevent unfinished art from being released actually became a way to check and confirm that a champion's personality and appearance is distinct enough to depict in a simple splash art. And now Pharaoh Pony's artwork is actually a legit and official step in the champion development process. Unfortunately, a while back, he actually stepped down from his prestigious position, but now another Rioter named Quackaroon is taking his place. And this was his first piece of art, which was even Pharaoh Pony approved. Did you know that Riot used to sell a Kaisa statue for $800, and if you bought it, you'd also get this I won't back down Kaisa emote? So in other words, this emote is probably the most expensive emote in League of Legends. $800. According to Ashley, not all Korean pros can speak English, but apparently 90% of them can say as an exclamation with almost perfect pronunciation. I mean, it is League of Legends, so it makes sense. You gotta get the words you use the most, you know? Did you know that squills, you know, those things that Lulu polymorphs you into, got their name from the senior designer's daughter trying to pronounce squirrel? Oh, also for the dark candy skin, at one time they were messing around with the idea of turning champions into derpy donuts instead. Another big missed opportunity, if I do say so myself. Did you know that Set's E Facebreaker was originally pitched as just a spell that, I quote, lets you slam dudes into other dudes? Doesn't get much more simpler than that. There's a 360 video on YouTube of someone playing League of Legends that is at 5.6 million views, and at first you kind of wonder to yourself, why is this video so popular? Well, for starters, the Heimerdinger gameplay is just just completely unmatched. I mean, look at that. But more importantly, then you realize that the person playing also has a sick looking jacket on. I honestly didn't know that League of Legends players were so into fashion. Did you know that Star Guardian, Xayah, and Rakan have a unique dance that they can do together if they're both playing the same skin? On top of that, they also both have a unique recall animation for the Star Guardian skins. Most not sub, puppy sad. Free click, puppy happy. Thank you. Did you know that Aurelion Sol has a special voice line just for taunting players who use a Dragon Slayer skin, where he says,
"You're out of your league."
8 years ago, this guy named Tech turned the old League of Legends main theme into an 8-bit remix. And honestly, it sounds pretty amazing. I mean, just listen to this. Between using the old theme and it being an 8-bit remix, the nostalgia vibes are just insane. About 6 months ago, there was a Korean streamer that got stream sniped by 4 of her viewers, but instead of just messing around a bit, they took it to a whole nother level and held her hostage for 3 hours. She couldn't surrender because you needed at least 4 people to have the majority, and she had 2 of the stream snipers on her team. She couldn't end because there was a Senna and Eve on the other team who prevented her from backdooring and ending the game. And on that note, a 3-hour late game Senna kind of made playing the game impossible for her in general. I mean, as you can see from this clip, she was just getting 2-shot by her and Senna wasn't even on the screen. Additionally, the 2 stream snipers on her team were playing Nasus and Jhin, making sure the minions didn't end on her side. She ended up dying over 120 times, and the worst part about all of this is that she ended up getting a 14-day ban afterwards because the 4 stream snipers reported her for being negative in feeding. Talk about League of Legends at its finest. This is actually very useless, but did you know that the Heartsteel item icon number caps out at exactly 65,501? The actual bonus health that you can get from the item is uncapped. It's just the visible number on the icon that stops going up, you know, in case you ever actually hit 65,000 stacks in a game or something. Also, apparently after you pass 100,000 health on a champion, your health bar actually turns black, which is actually kind of interesting. Again, not like this will ever actually happen in a game, that is unless you get held hostage as a streamer or something. But if it did, it'd be pretty troll to play against. Having someone walking around looking like they're one-shot but in reality have 100,000 health would be surprising to say the least. So in case you haven't heard yet, the LCK signed the very first female esports player, and it's pretty sick to see. Jeon Sujin, or Dangmu, will be joining LSB's Challenger team, which participates in the LCK CL. She's mostly a support main and was also the first female streamer to hit Korean Challenger solo, which she did 2 years ago. And she also did it with a 60% win rate. Pretty crazy. Have you ever wondered if your username is globally unique? Well, Bright actually has a page that allows you to check and see if you're in conflict with another player. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in checking. Did you know that Wild Rift had its first Worlds last year in 2022, and it even had its own World song? To be honest, I didn't even know this happened until one of you guys sent it to me. Which, by the way, if any of you have any info that you want to send, you can do so at outsidejokelol@gmail.com. But anyways, yeah, it was kind of crazy. The official name for the tournament was Wild Rift Icon Global Championships, and there was actually a $2 million prize pool for it. A lot of the regular esports team that we see in League of Legends also have a Wild Rift team, like FPX, KT Rolster, Flash Wolves, JDG, and even T1. But Nova Esports ended up taking the gold this year. Also, can we just talk about the celebration here for a second? Like, why is this guy the only one who's hyped that his team just won Worlds? Like, his whole team is just sitting there so nonchalant, like nothing happened. I mean, this dude's literally taking a sip like it's just a normal day in the office. They even left this guy hanging so bad that he literally sat back down. Talk about L teammates, bro. Sure, I mean, Wild Rift isn't League of Legends, but they all did just win over 100 grand each, so I'd be pretty freaking hyped if I were them. If Wild Rift is gonna succeed in esports, we're gonna have to work on our celebration game a bit. Anyways, here's a dude playing Brahms' theme song on a mandala. So most of you probably know that there's a diff title for each of the roles after you win a certain amount of games. There's a mid diff, top diff, jungle diff, and so on. But did you know that you can actually get a player diff title by queuing up as Phil and winning games? This is a chart also showing how many games you need to win in order to get each of the different ranks as well. So most people know that Wukong is Master Yi's pupil. But did you know that Wukong was actually just called Kong until Master Yi trained him in the Wuju style? So it's possible that he could have become a Master Kong at some point. Or even better, King Kong. Speaking of Wukong, this is probably the most satisfying Tiamat bonk I have ever seen. Do any of you guys remember this really old League of Legends ad that was released in 2018 where some kids grabbed some random weapons to show off the different kinds of League of Legends characters? Let me know in the comments if you've ever even seen it before too, because I know some of my friends haven't, and it's probably because they were mainly targeting people who didn't already play League. But who knows, maybe this ad is actually the thing that got some of you started in League of Legends, and for that, I apologize. Did you know that Chemtech Dragon is by far the weakest dragon in the game right now? It seems Riot was really scared to make this thing too overpowered once they brought it back. To put things into perspective card for you. The dragon with the highest win rate after killing just one is the ocean dragon at 35.3%, but the Chemtech's win rate is 28.2%. The dragon soul with the highest win rate is the cloud soul at a 90.7% win rate, but the Chemtech soul is at 86.4%. The highest win rate combo of dragons is ocean and infernal at 67.4%, but Chemtech is not only at the very bottom, but also in the bottom 11 spots. And lastly, the highest 3 dragon combo is ocean, hextech, and infernal with a win rate of 84.2%, and the lowest 3 dragon combo is of course 3 Chemtechs at 67.1%. That is a 17.1% win rate difference, which is pretty freaking insane when you think about it. I hate to say it, but I think Riot actually needs to buff the Chemtech dragon. Did you know that Zoe can actually use her Q in the Hex Gate at the same time, which can make for some pretty ridiculous plays like this one on Summoner's Rift? But thanks to the new ARAM changes and Hex Gates being on that map too now, she can also do it on ARAM. I have a feeling this is just the start of seeing some insanely long Zoe Q highlights. Even though Riot decided not to add a winter map this year, someone named the Killer Ray did, and honestly, it's everything you'd hope it'd be. I mean, just seeing this makes me wish so bad that Riot would add stuff like this into the game again, but nevertheless, the Killer Ray managed to do all of this by himself and with his team. It's pretty amazing. On top of the winter map, you also may have seen that he released a Project Summoner's Rift map from scratch, which is insane. I'm still in disbelief that someone can do this by themselves and a multi-billion-dollar company can't, but seriously, this looks so professional. Seeing stuff like this honestly makes me excited for League again. I'm really hoping Riot at least hires him at this point, or at least takes some notes. Did you know that there's a glitch that if timed right will shoot Talon to the moon? Basically, if Cassante ults him while he was jumping over terrain at the right moment, he'll just go straight up for a hot second. Good stuff. And lastly, I just wanted to show you guys a drawing of Evelyn that I've been working on for weeks. I wouldn't consider myself a great artist, but I did spend a lot of time on this and I'm pretty happy on how it turned out. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Thanks James and Stefan for being tier 3 patrons, and thank you so much to all my incredible patrons too. It seriously means so much to me that you'd support me like that. All right, bye.